Hello everyone, welcome to my channel WishInfinite. In this video of automation using AI and MCP Server series, we will learn how to configure GitHub Copilot with the Playwright MCP Server using VS Code. And before moving further, I would like to inform you that you can now support my YouTube channel, and for that you can go to my channel WishInfinite and then click onto the join button and select the desired option to become a member. You can unlock exclusive perks while helping the channel grow. Your support means a lot. And a big thank you to everyone who has taken channel membership. As a token of appreciation, members can see their YouTube profile pictures featured randomly on the channel homepage here. Also, you can access this complete playlist under the Playlists tab. Feel free to save it by clicking onto this Save button for quick access in your YouTube playlists section. Now let's continue with our current topic, where we are going to configure GitHub Copilot with Playwright MCP Server in VS Code. So in my previous video, we have already seen that what is an AI assistant, model, agent, and MCP, which is Model Context Protocol, where we also saw that what is MCP client and MCP server. Here we also saw different type of AI assistants, where we had glimpse about this GitHub Copilot, which is an AI assistant. And as I previously told, these AI assistants are MCP clients. So currently, as we are going to configure GitHub Copilot with Playwright MCP Server, so this GitHub Copilot, which is an AI assistant, is going to act as MCP client. So we are going to configure this MCP client with this MCP server, which is Playwright MCP server. And we are going to use this GitHub Copilot inside VS Code. So now, as we know about this GitHub Copilot, now let's see about Playwright MCP server. So Playwright MCP server is a server that provides browser automation capabilities using Playwright. This server enables LLMs or large language models to interact with web pages through structured accessibility snapshots, bypassing the need for the screenshots or visually tuned models. Here are some key features of Playwright MCP server. First one is that it is fast and lightweight, which uses Playwright's accessibility tree and not pixel-based input. It is LLM friendly, where no vision models needed. It operates purely on structured data. Also, it avoids uncertainty common with screenshot-based approaches, because in screenshot-based approach, there are chances that your screenshot or some element onto the application may get changed. And that's what it is not using, right? It is not using this screenshot based approaches. So here, as I told, that this server enables LLMs to interact with web pages through structured accessibility snapshots. See, here also I mentioned that it uses Playwright's accessibility tree. So Playwright's accessibility tree is a structured representation of our web page's accessibility elements. And this accessibility snapshots in Playwright is a structured JSON representation of accessibility tree. And when you hear about this Playwright accessibility tree, so you can consider it as a subset of document object model of your web page. And now let's see about the prerequisites which are required to configure GitHub Copilot with Playwright MCP server in VS Code. So first thing is that Node.js should be installed onto your machine. And for that, you can go to this particular link and click onto this download Node.js LTS version. So for now, the LTS version is 22.16.0. In future, this version can get changed. And here, once this file is downloaded, you can simply double click on it and install the Node.js. Let me double click here, and here we just need to follow the wizard. we need not to make any changes. So click on next, accept this license agreement, click on next, then again next, 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 and install. If it is already installed for you, you need not to again install. Just for the demo purpose, I am again reinstalling it. For me also, it is already installed. But here, this is the basic simple steps, right, which you need to follow for the installation wizard. Now let's click onto the finish. Now coming onto the second prerequisite, which is VS Code. And for that, you can go onto this code.visualstudio.com, and from here you can download the latest VS Code. So whatever machine or system you are using, accordingly click onto the button. For me it is Windows machine, so here I will click onto this Windows and see download has been started. Now here go to the downloaded location, simply double click, accept this agreement, and just follow the wizard by clicking onto the next and install. These are very basic steps, right? You must already be aware about it, that how to install it. Just for the demo purpose, I am again reinstalling the VS Code also. After installation, you can directly launch it. If you don't want to launch it, just uncheck it and click on finish. Now we have two prerequisites installed. Now there are these two prerequisites, which are GitHub Copilot extension and GitHub Copilot chat extension. So this GitHub Copilot extension provides inline coding suggestions as you type. And this GitHub Copilot chat extension is an extension that provides conversational AI. And for that, first we will have to open VS Code. So let's open VS Code. For now, I have not opened any project or folder inside VS Code. Now to get these two prerequisites, open VS Code, go to this extensions section, and here search for GitHub Copilot. And see, we have these two extensions which are appearing at top. One is GitHub Copilot and the second one is GitHub Copilot Chat. Right? These two extensions we need, GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot Chat. Let's install these two extensions, and these two extensions are interrelated. So if you will install any of them, the second one will automatically get installed. So click onto the install, and these two extensions are provided by GitHub itself. So you would be able to see this github.com as publisher. And see, we have installed one of the extension and the second one automatically got installed. And once you install these two extensions, you would be able to see this GitHub Copilot icon at top. Here, if you are using VS Code for the first time, or if you have never signed in with the GitHub onto VS Code, then you would be seeing this Copilot icon with this cross. And once you will mouse over, you will be able to see this sign in to use Copilot. Click here and this sign in pop-up would be appearing. And again, I am repeating this cross mark, and this sign in pop-up would be appearing only if you have never signed in with the GitHub onto the VS Code. So if you are not getting this sign in pop-up or this close icon, then you are already signed in with the GitHub. So now for the people who have not signed in with the GitHub onto the VS Code, they can click onto this continue with GitHub, and here it will take you to this GitHub page. Now here you can provide your username and password. So WishInfinite is my username and I will provide my password here. Now click on sign in. Here click continue, and then it will show this open Visual Studio Code pop-up. Click on open Visual Studio Code. Now here you will get signed in with the GitHub account in the VS Code. Now see, there is no cross pop-up is appearing. Now here you can click onto this icon to open this Copilot AI assistant. And in our case, as I told, this is the MCP client. Now let me close this tab. And here for now, I have not opened any of the project or folder, right? It is the new VS Code page where we can open any folder. For now, it is really not required. So let it be like this only. Now, previously also, as we saw that this is an AI assistant where we can provide any of the prompt and it will give us response. We also saw that how internally AI assistant, model, agent and MCP servers are connected. For now, here into this Copilot, you can simply give prompt here. Here we can change it to ask and agent. So whenever you want to just ask something, right, you can keep this ask selected. But here, if we want to perform any action, like we want to create some file or we want to write some code into our file, so in that case, we would be selecting agent. In case of MCP server also, we are going to select it as agent, because with the help of agent only, we would be able to perform the goal, right? We would be able to open the browser, we would be able to perform the action with the help of agent, where it would also be using MCP server. So once we install MCP server, we would be getting some tools. Through that, it would be able to perform actions. So here select agent. So agent is kind of mini software engineer or task doer who is going to perform the task. Apart from this, we can also select the model which we want to use. Currently, by default, this Cloud Sonnet 3.5 is selected. This Cloud Sonnet is model provided by Anthropic. These GPT models are provided by OpenAI. So for now, I will keep this Cloud Sonnet 3.5 selected. In future, you can see different models here with a different version. And whatever model you want to select, that you can change. Apart from this, we have this Configure Tools option. Once you will click it, here you will be able to see these built-in tools. For now, the count is 21, which are selected. Once we will configure Playwright MCP server, we would be able to see more tools here. Apart from that, we have these basic options like undo, redo, new chat, show chats, where it will show the history. Here you can explore some more options. And here this is the option to close this GitHub Copilot chat. We have this start voice chat option is also there. For now, we are not using it. But if you want to give any prompt through the voice, you can click on this. And here, once you provide any prompt, you can either hit enter or you can click onto this send option. Here we have this add context, where we can add context. About this, we will see later. For now, let's configure Playwright MCP server with GitHub Copilot. And for that, let's go back to our document. And now we need to go to this particular link, which is Playwright MCP Git repository link. I have already opened this link here. This is Playwright MCP Git repository. Here, if you will scroll down, you would be able to see this getting started section. And here there is option to configure GitHub Copilot inside VS Code. Here, as you can see, first we need to install the Playwright MCP server with our client. And our client is GitHub Copilot inside VS Code. And typical configuration looks like this. And this particular configuration will be there inside VS Code settings. Let me open that file where this configuration is going to appear. So here into the VS Code, we have this manage icon. Click here and then click onto this settings. And now click onto this open settings JSON file. So it will open JSON file for all these settings. Click here and see we have this settings.json. And for now, there is no MCP server configurations. But as soon as I will configure this Playwright MCP server with VS Code, I would be able to see Playwright MCP server configuration here into settings.json inside VS Code. Here, in case of VS Code, this configuration will look slightly different. I will tell you what is the difference. So typically, configurations should look like this, but there would be slight difference that I will tell you. So to configure Playwright MCP server, here we have option where we can install this server by clicking onto this VS Code button. If we are using normal VS Code, but if you are using VS Code Insider, then you need to click here. What is the difference here between VS Code and VS Code Insider? So the VS Code which we have downloaded and which we are using is normal Visual Studio Code. Apart from that, there is one more VS Code, which is VS Code Insider. which is for early adopters. So it would be having most recent code pushes and may lead to occasional broken build. That's why I am using this Visual Studio Code and not the VS Code Insider. But if you are using VS Code Insider and if you want to configure Playwright MCP Server, you can click here. And for now, we can click onto this normal VS Code button and it will install Playwright MCP Server. And we would be able to see those configurations here. It is not mandatory to open these files. You can close this also automatically. It will take those configurations. If it is open also, then there is no issue. So now let's click onto this Install Server VS Code button. And then it will show you this pop-up that it wants to open Visual Studio Code. Click onto the open and it will show you these options. Here we need to click onto this option, which is Install Server in your user settings. Click here and see our settings.json got opened, and here we are able to see this configuration. And as I told that we are going to get slightly different configurations. So here inside this document, this was the configuration where this MCP server's key was there, but here in case of VS Code we are getting this MCP as the key inside this JSON object, and its value is again an object where we have servers as the key and its value is again an object. So this is the only difference. Inside it we would be having same value. So what does this configuration means? So here inside this settings.json we have this main object where we have key as MCP, and inside this MCP object we have this servers. So these key value pairs are specifically related to the MCP servers configuration. So inside this servers we have this object where we have Playwright as the key, and again we have its value as the object where we have passed command as npx and argument as this @playwright/mcp@latest. So this npx command is for running the node packages, and which package it need to run, that we have passed here as the argument. So args : and then its value is an array where we have provided this Playwright/mcp@latest, means it need to run latest version of Playwright MCP package. And similarly, if there would be any other MCP server, so in that case after this key value pair, which is Playwright and then this object, so after this key value pair, next set of MCP server configuration would be there. So inside this servers key object we will be having different key value pairs for different MCP servers. And if your server is not started, you can click onto this start option. Anytime you can stop it from here and again start it. We can also restart it. So this step would be mandatory, that this particular server should be in running state once we provide any prompt related to the Playwright MCP server. And also we are able to see these logs. Let me clear these logs. Let's again stop this Playwright MCP server. See, these logs are appearing where it has stopped this Playwright server. Again let's start it, and now it is showing logs related to the start of this Playwright MCP server. See, it is starting server and then the state is changing from starting to running, and it is showing that it has discovered 25 tools. What are these 25 tools? And to know about that, let's click onto this configure tools option, and on the top we would be able to see all the tools. So these tools are built-in tools. Scroll down and here we are able to see this MCP server Playwright tools. So these are all the tools. If you will count, we have these 25 tools related to the Playwright MCP server. So if you will read about these tools, see, first one is browser click, which is to perform click on web page. Browser close is for closing the page. Browser console is to return all the console messages. And like this, there is this drag and drop tool. file upload tool, navigate tool, click tool, press key tool, and so many tools are there, right? And if you have seen my Playwright tutorials playlist, so you must be aware that all these options which are appearing as tools are nothing but different Playwright actions which are usually performed onto the website, right? We use this page.goto to go to the specific URL. We use click method to click onto the any element, and like this there are different actions or different operations which we can perform into the Playwright are appearing here into this Playwright MCP server. And in future there are chances that you would be able to see more tools, right? When I'm recording this video, we are having 25 tools, but if team adds more tools related to the different actions inside this Playwright MCP server, we would be able to see those tools here. For now, we need not to select or unselect any option here. We can simply click onto the OK. So now we have configured this Playwright MCP server here into our VS Code. And this was the first way to configure Playwright MCP server, for which we have clicked onto this Install Server VS Code button. Apart from this, there is one more way, and it's totally up to you which way you want to use. Here, for the simplicity, directly this particular button is provided so that directly your Playwright MCP server will get installed into VS Code. And let's talk about second way quickly. So expand this install in VS Code, and here we have this CLI command. Through this also we can install Playwright MCP server. The same command I have put here into this document also. So let's copy this command, go to VS Code. Let me first remove these configurations. Either you can remove only this particular part. For now I will remove complete section just to show you that with this CLI command also we would be able to configure Playwright MCP server. Now let's go to VS Code, and here open terminal, click on new terminal. Let's close this old one, and here let's paste that command, and we need to provide this command into this bash terminal. Right click here to paste the command, hit enter, and see it is showing this added MCP servers Playwright. And again we are able to see this particular configuration inside the settings.json file. And as I told, if I will remove only this particular part and again I will run the same command, I would be able to see this particular configuration section, because inside this MCP servers all the different configurations are going to get configured or installed. And again let's click onto the start to start this Playwright MCP server. So now we have seen the second way also to configure Playwright MCP server, and it is not necessary that you use this particular install server option or this CLI command to configure any MCP server. You can simply copy paste this configuration inside the settings.json. That will also work. Let me remove this particular section. So now we do not have any Playwright MCP server configured. Let me click onto this tools. See, here also we are not able to see any tools related to the Playwright MCP server. Now let me copy paste that Playwright key and its value for the command and argument. And as soon as we paste it, we will be able to see the Playwright MCP server tools again. So this is just the third way. You can just paste or type these configurations simply, and your different MCP servers will get configured. So you can use any of the option to install MCP server. In this case, Playwright MCP server. So you can either click onto this install server option, or you can use this second way by providing this CLI command, which will automatically provide these configurations, or the third way is that you can simply write these keys and values in the same pattern to configure the MCP server. And at the end, as I told, we need to click onto this start to start any MCP server. Here we have started this Playwright MCP server, and now we are good to go. So we have all the prerequisites ready and we have done all the configurations, right? we installed the Node.js, we got this VS Code installed, then we added these two extensions, which are GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot Chat. And after that, we have configured this Playwright MCP server configurations. So now we are ready with our MCP client, which is GitHub Copilot, and our MCP server, which is Playwright MCP server. So now we can use this Playwright MCP server to use different browser automation capabilities. So now let me provide one basic prompt to perform one Playwright automation operation. So here, as an example, what we will do, we will go to this particular site, which is WishInfinite.com. Here we will go to Playground, and then we will click onto this selectors option from the left menu, and then we will be able to see all these different selectors examples. So for now, manually I did it, right? I went to this site, I clicked onto the Playground, then I went to selectors, and then I saw all these different selectors options. Now let's provide one prompt to do the same. So here into VS Code GitHub Copilot, let's write one prompt, and make sure once you send the prompt, you select this agent, right? As we discussed in my previous video also, this agent is the task doer, right? Who is going to perform the task. Now let's provide the prompt. So I will provide the prompt as go to this WishInfinite. So here I will just simply copy this link, then click on to selectors section under this Playground using Playwright MCP server. So this is the basic prompt in the simple English language I am providing, where we are commanding to go to this particular site and then click onto the selectors section, which is this one, under Playground. So it will open this site, it will go to the Playground, and then it will click onto this selectors. Now let's click onto this send, and as I told, make sure you select agent here, and here the model is selected as Cloud Sonnet 3.5. You can try different models also, but for now we are using this one. Now click onto this send, and let's wait, and let's see what this GitHub Copilot is doing. See, it is asking that I will help you navigate to the website and click onto the selectors section using the Playwright. Let me break this down into steps. So first, let's navigate to the website, and for that, here this is the input which it is taking using our prompt, where it is saying navigate to a URL, and here we can simply click onto the continue. Here we have different options also, that we can allow it in this session, allow in this workspace, and always allow. For now, I will simply click onto the continue, and later we will talk about these options in more detail. For now, let's click onto the continue directly, and see, our browser got opened, and it has opened this WishInfinite.com website. Now again it is performing further steps. So about these steps you need not to be worried about, but you should have knowledge that what exactly which is happening, right? Here it is saying that let me take a snapshot to see the page structure. So here it would be able to see your page's structure. So this is not the image snapshot it is talking about. It is talking about the accessibility snapshot. About that we just discussed with the theory, right? Here I told you that it is going to use accessibility tree and accessibility snapshots. So the same thing or same log is appearing here, and here see, it is saying that I see that there is a Playground link in the navigation menu. Let me click on that first. So for now we are onto this page, and we need to click onto the selector. For that we will have to go to this Playground, and the same thing it is showing here. We can click onto the continue, which will click onto this Playground link in the navigator menu, right? This is the reference. Because of that, it is able to find that it need to click onto this E14, which is this Playground link. See, reference E14. And now here we can simply click onto the continue, right? Here I am just showing these logs to you so that you have an idea, right? What exactly is going to happen. For now we are just performing very basic operation, but later in upcoming videos, we will try to perform more complex operation. And for that, we would be providing different prompts in the structured manner. For now, we have just written it like this, and automatically Playwright MCP Server, with the help of this GitHub Copilot inside the VS Code, is able to perform all the operations. Now let's click onto the continue, which will click onto the playground. See, I have not done anything manually. Automatically it clicked onto this playground option. And now again, it is able to find this selectors button in the sidebar. And as soon as we will click onto this continue, we will be onto this selectors section. Let's click onto this continue and see, it has clicked onto this selector section. And now it has provided details related to the successful operation, that I have successfully navigated to the website and clicked through to the selector section in the playground. The page now shows various selectors examples, including single select dropdown, multi-select dropdown, searchable dropdowns, and basic and advanced selectors that you can use to practice automation testing. See, we have not asked for these details, right? We just told to click onto this selector section inside the playground, but automatically detected, right? It has this single select dropdown. See, single select dropdown, multi-select dropdown, which is this one, searchable dropdown, which got mentioned here, and the basic and advanced selectors. So all these details it provided automatically to us, right? And all these operations and verifications just happened with the help of this simple prompt. Usually what we do, we open the browser, right? We use this page.goto to go to the specific link, and then we will use the getBy method or the locator method to detect all these locators, to click onto this playground button, to click onto the selectors. If we want to detect all these selectors inside this selectors page, we will have to detect each section, right? We will have to get the locator, and then we would be performing verification using the expect method. So all these things happened by just giving the prompt in the plain natural language. In our case, it is English here. So now it is very amazing, right? You just provided this command and all the operations happened, and we are able to see all the details also here into our MCP client, right? MCP client, when I'm saying, so here it is GitHub Copilot inside the VS Code. And like this, we can perform more complex operations also. About that, we would be seeing into the next video, that what are different operations we can try, right? And we will try to provide these prompts into more structured way. So it would be easy for your AI assistant to understand what goal you are providing to perform it, right? So about this process, we are already aware, right? We provide the prompt to the AI assistant. Here, see, we saw the example also. We provide the prompt. So this model will be understanding that particular prompt. It will plan that what exactly it needs to do. And then agent will come into picture, which will be performing different tasks which we have provided through the prompt. And here it will interact with the MCP server to open the browser, to open the website, right? And to perform different actions. This example we have seen into the previous video. If you have not watched the previous video, I would highly recommend you to watch these videos through the playlist, so that you would be having a better idea, right? That how internally also these things are happening, right? And in the interview also, there can be some questions like, what is Playwright MCP Server, right? How we can install the Playwright MCP Server, that can also be one question, right? So you can mention about this way, right? Either you can use this command, or you can directly provide these configurations, or you can simply click onto this install button, right? There can be some basic interview questions like, what is MCP server, what is MCP client? So you can mention all these details which we have discussed into the previous video, right? Where we saw that what is MCP client, what is MCP server. They can also ask about this process, right? That how by just giving a single prompt, we are able to perform all these operations, right? That also we discussed in the previous video, that what is AI assistant, what is model, agent, MCP server, and how they are working together to achieve the goal. So these can be simple basic questions which can be there, and you should be aware about these concepts. And here, as an assignment, you can try to perform different operations under different sections, right? You can try to fill this form. You can try to submit the form, right? Here you can try to select different values from these selectors. Like here you can select any option, right? So by just providing the prompt, you can do all these operations. So after configuring Playwright MCP server, try to perform some more complex operations. And as I told in the next video, we will try to perform such complex tasks by providing prompts into more structured way. We will also try to select different models. So about that, we are going to see in the next video. And now I will conclude this video here. But before we wrap up, let me give you a quick recap. So here we saw that Playwright MCP server is model context protocol that provides browser automation capabilities using Playwright. And here this Playwright MCP server uses structured accessibility snapshots to interact with the web pages. And then we prepared all the prerequisites where we have installed Node.js, VS Code, and then we have configured these GitHub Copilot extensions. Then we configured Playwright MCP server. For that, you can go to this Playwright MCP server site and then click onto this install server VS Code, which will open VS Code, and then you can click onto the install option. Second way is that we can simply provide this command into the bash terminal and then hit enter, which will configure Playwright MCP server. And if you want, you can simply copy paste these configurations or type it down. So that is also one of the way. And once this configuration is done, you can click onto start button to run this Playwright MCP server. After that, we saw that we can provide prompt in the natural language, which will perform all the operations. And here we would be able to see details related to the each steps which are getting performed. And that's it from my end. You can click onto the first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access this whole automation using AI and MCP servers playlist. And stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.